Hello and welcome back to another installment of the series, What Have People Written About ENFJs? My name is Doris, I'm a type and relationship coach, and the book today is The 16 Personality Types by Dr. Berens and Dr. Dario Nardi. This is going to be 2 pages of text, so there's a lot of information, and before I used to read a bullet point and then react to it, so here I think I'm going to read a paragraph and then react to it, otherwise I'd be taking you in and out of the descriptions too much. Okay, I hope that works for you. Linda calls ENFJs Envisioner mentors in her interaction style system. We're in the In Charge group, and in the Essential Motivator system, we're a catalyst. She begins with a snapshot. Theme is mentoring, leading people to achieve their potential and become more of who they are. Talents lie in empathizing with profound interpersonal insight and influencing others to learn, grow, and develop. Lead using their exceptional communication skills, enthusiasm, and warmth to gain cooperation toward meeting the ideal they hold for the individual or the organization. Catalysts who draw out the best in others, thrive on empathic connections, frequently called on to help others with personal problems. I think I resonate with most of that. I definitely have lots of examples for and continue to enjoy and really feel so appreciated when other people come to me with their personal problems, like my friends and family and also my clients, obviously. The theme of mentoring is great. Communication, we've covered that. Everybody basically agrees that ENFJs communicate well. Enthusiasm and warmth and cooperation, I think, are also important tenets for me. The thing that I have noticed reading all of these different ENFJ descriptions, I have some difficulty or resistance against claiming the words of leading, persuading, and influencing. That might just be something for me that I'm going to have to look at, but maybe it's because English isn't my first language. Maybe it's just a semantic issue, but for me, leading and persuading and influencing at least are kind of pushy. And I do want to make sure that I come from a very kind of consensual place. So I would word it as encouraging and holding space for the more kind of therapeutic language where you are okay as you are and you get to figure out who you want that to be and how you want to show up in the world. I might have an idea of what the potential is, but also I'm not going to put that on you because that's not my job, right? It's your life, your responsibility, you have the agency. So it's not on me to persuade you, it's on me to show you that it might be possible and then to guide you by asking questions. I can only show you the door, you have to walk through it. To me, again, these words of leading and influencing and persuading are a little more pushy. Now, portrait. Themes. For Envisioner mentors, life is a process of succeeding at relationships. There can never be enough truly empathic relationships to foster mutual growth. They enjoy the creative process in many forms and often bring a fresh view to projects they enthusiastically work on. Realizing dreams, their own and others, is what life is all about. To not have dreams to manifest and a chance to communicate and share values is to live a life with no meaning and no purpose, a fate worse than death. Big words. Fate worse than death. Okay, that's setting the stakes very high. I think it speaks to the dramatic nature. I do have a very dramatic streak in me if and when I let it out, as evidenced by watching shows like The Buccaneers and Just Like That, the Sex and the City sequel. We can talk about the quality of those shows, but I'm talking about the drama of it all. So that kind of, struck a chord. Fostering mutual growth, yes. I love creativity, absolutely, as well. I think it's just very true. The realizing my dreams and helping other people realize theirs. I'm currently in a phase where there is a lot of change and I'm not quite sure what the dream is. Again, that is probably just me. Manifesting or the chance to communicate and sharing values. This is, I feel like, something that I'm doing now with these videos and I thoroughly enjoy it. So 100%. For them, all of life is about the interpersonal and they constantly seek opportunities to grow together through relationships. There are times when they value logical explanations, having realizations that foster development and help them understand why the world is the way it is, helps them lead a purposeful life. Learning from relationships is important and occasionally painful. I would agree with that as well. I do like a bit of logic and I will probably still submit it to my values and or feelings and emotions. Now, especially in midlife, it's that introverted thinking, inferior thing that is coming up to understanding the world as a whole and how it is that is coming up as well. Yeah. Learning from relationships. I mean, there's a reason why I'm getting into coaching couples. I feel like relationships help us meet who we are and then also look at who we maybe could be. It's that interplay of no person is an island. I love a good period of introspection as well, right? But the exchange with others just adds so much more depth to it. Moving on. Their thought processes tend to be integrative and global as they seek to find ways to help others know themselves and their life's mission. Heeding the call to a life work or mission is tremendously important to them, and they are readily available to others to help reveal to them their unique purpose. Sometimes they find themselves knowing what they do not want to know, yet to shut off their empathic knowing is to shut off a vital life force. This is interesting. Actually, I used to think that this whole helping others to fulfill their potential was almost more of an ENFP thing. But wanting to be a coach myself, obviously ENFJs do that too. So yes, seeking to find ways to help others know themselves is their life's mission. Heeding the call to a life, work, or mission is tremendously important. I think I've mentioned this before as well. I would love to be more certain about it. There is this part of me that still thinks there has to be a super flash of insight or a lightning bolt hitting my brain or just something else, because my mission right now is to talk about type, to talk about relationships, to work with people who want to gain self-awareness and improve relational skills or reach kind of different goals that they might have. That is my mission, but it seems like whenever I hear people talk about their mission and their vision and their values, that it's something out here that I don't really have access to. And then I read Big Magic by Elizabeth Gilbert, and she said, if you don't have that thing, then just follow your curiosity. That kind of reframe helped me. My curiosity is always going to be about people and about how to reduce conflict and to appreciate differences and accept myself a little more, thereby letting others accept themselves a little more as well. Again, semantics. Maybe it's that I don't understand the word in a way that other people understand it. I have a mission, but it doesn't feel like a mission. You know what I mean? Anyway, tangent. Moving on. In the interpersonal realm, they often find that their ease in connecting with others becomes a hindrance to their own well-being as they get lost in the relationship and lose sight of their own identity until they learn to set boundaries. Very true. They often use their intuitive intellect to reconcile the past and the future as they seek to understand the meaning and significance of life events. This is something I believe I've said before as well. To me, I love the ability of somebody with extroverted sensing high up in their consciousness to completely be in the moment and know what's happening as it is happening. For me, I understand in hindsight. I need to do it, and then afterwards I'll sit down and think, okay, what actually happened, and what did I do, and what did they do, and then I get it. So for me, learning kind of happens in hindsight. With such a talent for seeing potential in others and a focus on realizing that potential, they often find living in the present difficult. By the time the event happens, they've already lived it. Okay, that's the other thing. I also future project, like when I have a call scheduled or I'm going to an event, I have an idea of how it's going to go. And then a part of my mind is kind of 2 steps ahead of me and I follow along. And then afterwards I get this reintegration phase where I'm like, oh, wait, did that actually happen? Or was that the projection of it? Again, this is one of the reasons why I really enjoy Linda's writing about type, because I feel like other people have not really articulated it the way that she does. So I like it a lot. Relationships. For Envisioner mentors, relationships are about connecting. Life is all about relating empathically, and people need lots of attention and commitment. Lots of attention and commitment. Nurturing relationships is what they live for. There must be a sense of connection to feel known, understood, needed, reassured, and praised. They often find themselves acting informally as counselors, even if that is not their profession. and that fulfills their daily dose of connection. The downside is they can become overburdened with other people's problems. They invest a lot in all their relationships, work or personal, creating a standard others may not be able to return. If forgiveness, honesty, and consideration are not present, they work to bring them in. Without them, a relationship is not worthwhile. For anything to work with a person, the relationship has to work. When there is conflict, problems will have to be talked about and healed before going on. They tend to be open and sharing, and they expect others to self-disclose, especially in the interest of resolving issues. They have a way of getting others to feel at ease and open up. Very much agree with everything that is said here. Very much appreciate that Linda pointed out that other people tend to feel comfortable with us and share things with us that they may not usually share with others. I've had that happen a lot. I've had that happen in hotel bars and on planes with complete strangers. And then afterwards they're like, I can't believe I told you. I just have one of those faces, I guess. Living empathically and living in connection with other people. I don't have anything to add. I think her description is really great. The daily dose of connection, the downside of becoming overburdened with other people's problems. I've mentioned that before as well. If you're a young ENFJ watching, that'll get easier as you get older. Investing in relationships in a way or to a level that other people may not return is also something that I'm very familiar with. That is maybe frustrating at times, but also it gets better with age as you become a little more realistic in your expectations of other people as well. Experience and age are going to be really helpful. If you're a young ENFJ hearing this, then you already are way ahead of somebody who needs to find this out organically. You can already take steps and practice in small ways. So you're kind of ahead of the development curve, if you will. In their close relationships, they put a lot of energy into nurturing the relationship. There is a constant search for the ideal relationship where there's both friendship and romance with someone they can share everything with, especially meaning and purpose. Sometimes they have a hard time separating from their ideal, and objectivity eludes them. The more abrupt style of others often leads to hurt feelings, which they nurse internally. Their style is to easily communicate affection and appreciation with just the right message. Too much time alone leaves them needy, yet they need time to reflect on their own meaning and purpose too. Again, absolutely. Nurturing the relationship for me is, if I think about my marriage, there's just a lot of quality time spent together, listening to one another, encouraging one another in our projects. Because I'm a very tactile person, what's that called? Love language is physical touch, right? So there's a lot of hugging and kissing and physical proximity and holding hands when we walk. So that can be different for other people. But to me, that is nurturing, being physically close and having good conversations. The hard time separating the ideal and objectivity eluding us, again, when I was younger, and if you are also a younger ENFJ, that is part of the process. So it's quote unquote normal. That is what's supposed to happen. Our brain is wired that way. It's okay. When you have the awareness of it, then you can ask yourself consciously, is my expectation even justified? Like, is this realistic? You wouldn't go to the hardware store and buy milk, right? So can the person even give you what you want? Other people being abrupt can definitely hurt our feelings. And also with age, you get to reframe if you even take the feedback on, because if you consider who hurt your feelings, then maybe their opinion doesn't have to be that important to you. Too much alone time leaves us needy, absolutely. Time to reflect on our own meaning and purpose. I'm definitely into navel gazing and very introverted phase as well. I would suggest if that happens for you, then by all means pull out a tarot card or do the journaling, listen to your favorite sad songs. Crying always made me feel better. There's nothing wrong with it. It is part of the process. Feeling sad or feeling like things don't go your way, it's a little difficult for us because we like to be happy and our brains are kind of wired for optimism. That doesn't mean that tough stuff doesn't happen. And when it does, you can handle it. Now, on the left-hand side is the description, and then on the right-hand side is an amalgamate of interview responses from people with the confirmed best fit type preferences. And the interview question was, what's it like to be you? This is a self-portrait from conversations with Envisioner mentor types. I really believe everything happens for a reason to everybody. I'm a human being. There are other human beings around me, and each of us is unique. I trust when something is going to take me to a higher level, and I'll bring lots of people along with me. A constant quest of building a strong foundation of self and others from everything I learn. Relationships are about the higher purpose. There is a deep level that needs to be satisfied, or there is no point. I need a unique connection, or I am unsatisfied. I feel a responsibility to make a difference. Yes, and somewhat. Having to have a deep level, or I'm unsatisfied. The way that shows up for me is I'm great at small talk. I will do small talk all day long if I have to, but it feels better if we can actually get to the interesting stuff. Like, what's keeping you up at night? What maybe can I help you with? Or what have you never told anyone else and just want to get off your chest? That's the stuff that I'm interested in. I wouldn't say I'm unsatisfied with all the small talk, but actually maybe yes, unsatisfied might be the word, because I always feel like, but that's quite surface level and I like to go a little deeper. The responsibility to make a difference, I really want to put it that way. I am empathic. I just get a feeling about people. It's difficult to explain. I have the gift of being able to relate, and meaningful communication is a major piece of my life and a major vehicle for growth. I'm good at working with people to improve their behavior in their lives. I'm described as someone who cares, who has an uncanny sense for knowing what others need or what they are about. When I talk to people, I'm listening for their stories and their concerns, and I experience the joy or stress with them. I remember what's uniquely descriptive of that individual, and I'm good at giving praise and pointing out the gifts they bring to the world. If I get vibes that they are not comfortable developing the relationship the way I think it should be, I will back off. But I look for another clue to come back and develop it. What matters is working at making the relationship the best that it can be, whatever level it is, building depth into it. Empathetic, yes. Getting a feeling that is difficult to explain, yes. I call it's vibes. You have the vibe, I have the vibe, or we don't have the vibe. Meaningful communication, yes. Working with people to improve their behavior in their lives, I'm a little bit iffy with that, because I would want there to be a little more consensual kind of language. I do care. I have been told that I know just the right thing to say. It's one of those things I can't explain it, like I couldn't teach it to you. It's just something that when I notice it, then I will say it. I am listening for stories and concerns, absolutely. I do experience the joy and stress with others. Yesterday, the person who put our curtains up was telling us a story about how he was attacked by a dog, and I make all the noises. Empathy is, I think, more of an understanding, but you don't feel it. You don't necessarily feel it yourself. So there's a little bit more of a differentiation, where I think sometimes I actually am in the feeling. Like I cry with every TV show and I laugh with every TV show, like other people having emotions, I am there in the emotion with them. I remember what's uniquely descriptive of the individual. I used to be super good at just remembering people's birthdays. Nowadays, the memory is a little bit worse, but yeah, just some details that stick in the mind. I look for another clue to come back and develop the relationship at this point in my life and the amount of people that I've met and that I have in my life. If somebody doesn't want to be my friend, that's okay, and I'm not going to pursue it. I might try once or twice if I feel strongly about them. Then if the effort isn't reciprocated, then that's okay. Honesty is very important. Even if the truth is bad, it adds to the depth of the relationship. Yes, that might seem at odds with us being pretty conflict avoidant, but the truth will set you free, as they say. I hate unresolved conflict. It makes me sick and can stay with me until it's resolved. And I hate it when people are demeaned or mistreated. My heart goes out to them, so I feel it is my responsibility to help, and I will fight on their behalf. It's just something I do, but it hasn't always worked. I end up telling the person what to do, and then they do what they want regardless. If I'm really upset, I let myself calm down, figure out what I'm going to say, and then confront the situation. I'm very careful and aware of my actions or words and what effect they will have on another person. And I am thankful to have learned to take the time to envision various interactions before they happen. I used to push, but now I'm more patient. I'm usually fair, open, and unbiased. I don't understand people who are insensitive to others' needs. or issues or thoughts or feelings. Either I don't want them in my life or I want to teach them how to care. It bugs me when people don't take the time to understand each other. Yes, yes, and yes. Unresolved conflict is very annoying, and again, getting better now. So if somebody decides to be mad with me, then that's okay, then that's their choice. Fighting on someone else's behalf, if they are very important to me, then yes. Otherwise, now if I'm thinking of social media and the age of internet trolls, there are discussions that I'm just not going to get into. I mean, I don't think anybody's ever changed their mind in the comment section, so that's just not worth the effort. This people then do what they want regardless. That's something that I've also mentioned before. One of my coaching mantras that I learned early on is that a client can do whatever they want with their problem. They can even keep it because it's their life. It's not my life. If I'm really upset, I let myself calm down. Sometimes when I'm really upset, I let it out then and there. And then afterwards, I tend to feel very, very bad. In my better moments, I calm down and then figure out what to say. This rehearsing, what she was alluding at, this rehearsing conversations, that is something that I have done as well. That's usually when I know if I'm having imaginary conversation with somebody in my head, I know that there is something that is bugging me and that I need to journal about it. Like, what is it really? And then probably bring it up with that person to have the actual conversation. Because that's the other thing. Whatever imaginary conversations I've had in my head, the real one afterwards, the person rarely follows the script. I used to push, but now I'm more patient, yes. And the fair, open, unbiased, absolutely. And not understanding people who are insensitive to the needs or issues of others. I mean, this is not a political channel, but I feel like you can probably guess where I land on the spectrum. What is happening now in several countries where I used to live, one of them, is very annoying and actually very, very enraging. Yeah, and that's all I'm going to say about it. Okay, I usually put the relationship ahead of tasks I have to do, but I don't have unlimited energy. When I can just be who I am and I'm in a sharing mode, and when there's not a task-oriented pressure, that flows better. I try hard to be there emotionally for those in my life, so I have to constantly set up boundaries so I don't take on their problems. I usually work overtime to make sure I am understood. It is also very important to me for others to be properly understood, and I expend a lot of time and energy making sure they are understood and comfortable. Being unable to build relationships with those who need is frustrating. Yes, definitely to the energy piece, and again, that is something that will become so much easier with time and age and experience. Not having task pressure, absolutely, because this might be a cultural German thing coming out, or this might be a very strong judging expression. If I know that I have to do something, and if I know that there is a deadline, or if I know that there is an appointment, then my mind is there. I have to then get there, and I'm going to be anxious that we leave on time to get there on time and all of that. So task pressure or deadline pressure, appointment pressure is real. I don't know if I would say I try hard to be there emotionally, or if that is just something that I really naturally love to do. That's just something I really enjoy. So I would say it comes naturally to me. I don't have to try hard on it. And the constantly setting boundaries, I would reframe that as consciously setting boundaries. It's particularly difficult when my needs aren't being met. Hallelujah. Sometimes I can't even feel good about myself because I worry that others did not get what they needed. In a group, I need to separate my interests from others, or I'll easily be swayed by what they want and how they behave. I can't be successful for myself if I'm trying to fit into someone else's idea of me. That speaks, I think, to the NF, the catalyst need for unique identity and meaning. I would say yes, to a point. Everything is difficult when your needs aren't being met. I don't think that's necessarily unique for ENFJs. I think every type has their own issues. Not allowing myself to feel good if there is anybody else suffering in the world, that is something that I worked through in therapy. And if that is something you feel, I would really encourage you to try and sort that out, because you will always be able to find someone who has it worse than you. And comparing issues or comparing hardships is just not the point of life, right? You are entitled to your situations and your hardships and your feelings, and you don't have to say, oh, but yours is so much worse, therefore I have to adjust my emotions or my reactions to it. I would be careful with that. And if that is a loop or a pattern that you find yourself in, I encourage you to find someone to help you figure out that your concerns are valid as well, and that everybody has their own path, and that you don't have to take other people's stuff on, and other people don't have to take your stuff on. That's a suggestion. I'm not trying to persuade you. I'm just saying it might be worth looking into. In a group, needing to separate my interests from others, it depends on how the group is organized and what my role is. I absolutely agree with the point. Unless I feel very strongly about something, I'm happy to go with whatever the group wants to do. And then eventually I'll get to be by myself again, and then I'll do the processing. It's all good. And this is the last paragraph. I also tend to take a leadership position, not a strong one always, but I'm looked at as a leader. Others having genuine confidence in me is almost as good as having the confidence myself. When someone comes for help, it's a compliment. I listen and feed some things back that maybe they haven't thought about, something that's profound for them. Often people will disregard the information I give them as unimportant, only to later request that same information. That energizes me. I try to be a thoughtful, good listener, interested, fun, and someone who comes up with ideas. Humor is a great teacher and a great healer. My favorite thing is to watch someone have an aha experience, and I really admire people who have been through something and learned. That aha experience thing, seriously, that does not get old. Makes my whole week. It's so great. The leadership position, sure. Being looked at as a leader, I think I've talked about it before. We look like we have our shit together because we tend to know how long stuff takes, and we tend to be okay having relationships with people or talking to strangers. I can see how someone might think, all right, she looks like she knows what she's doing, so we'll ask her. And yes, it is a compliment. I have some memories where people said, oh yeah, you were right. You know, that thing that you said last week. That's how it worked out. Humor is so important. I love watching stand-up. I like lightening the load for others if possible. And so totally agree with that as well. And there you have it. This was the ENFJ Envisioner Mentor, according to Dr. Linda Berens and Dario Nardi in the 16 Personality Type book. If you liked this video, you're probably going to enjoy this next one as well, and I'll see you there.